Peace, what up y'all? It is the guy, Anti-Simp, back with a new video. Now, let's get to it. So, I know some of you have checked out the, or heard of the Fresh and Fit and Auburn Preach controversy, in which they talked about, should prostitution be legal? And let me give you guys, those of you who didn't know about this controversy, let me give you a little bit of an update. So Fresh and Fit invited Auburn Preach onto their show to have a discussion about prostitution and should it be legal. And you know, Myron gave some, he gave about 3 reasons why he said it shouldn't be legal. And I'm going to go over each of the reasons he gave as to why, you know, what my opinion is, and I'm gonna, you know, drop some game as well. So Auburn Preach, you know, they apparently they did their review, or they did their criticism of the show a while after they done been on the show already, and they gave their opinion about the show, and that led to Fresh and Fit, you know, taking shots at them. It led to the beef, pretty much. First off, let's go through the reasons that Myron gave, and then my feedback. The first one was Myron said that there was no respect from the women, and to give, you know, my opinion, most guys aren't going to care. You know, if you're a trick or whatever, you know, you're not going to care. There's a difference between a trick and a John. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes a trick can be delusional into thinking that because he's tricking off his paper, you know, he's getting his way, he's you know, earning himself points with the women, and eventually the women that he's dealing with or trying to trick off on, they're going to sleep with him. And that's not going to be the case. A John knows that he's going to get laid. A John knows where to build the right networking connections, so that, you know, if he's going to deal with a woman who's selling her body, he's for sure going to get laid. He's going to get paid. I don't care what any of these women on Twitter or anywhere else talk this stuff where, you know, just because you spend money doesn't mean you're going to get sex. No, there are women who are professionals, and not these little girls on Twitter who don't know what they're talking about, who are about their job, and they get to pick the clients they want to deal with. And so it's for sure that they're going to sleep with the clients that they're networking with. They even have, you know, websites specific to what a guy may want. So the concept that, you know, just because you spend money doesn't mean you're not gonna, you know, get laid. No, you're gonna get laid. But like I said, that's the difference between a trick and a John. A John knows he's gonna get laid. A John, you know, is gonna a John is gonna be kind of like some of the typical guys within the manosphere who, you know, pay with their pay it forward, or pay the cost to be the boss. I pay her to leave, not pay her to stay. Those are the type of guys who, you know, could be a good John to a prostitute. Next up, so he also said that, you know, you're not getting, actually it might not even be next up, it might have been all a part of the same thing. His reasons for that prostitution should be legal. He didn't really go into any details why prostitution should be legal. He just said that, you know, things, because this is already going on, you know. This is something that's been going on since the beginning of time. A lot of you guys are just square dudes who read a couple books off the internet, and you think you know what you're talking about, but you've never actually been around any real pimps or any real hoes to actually know what you're talking about, because the terminology that you guys be using comes from the game. And don't know, a lot of you square brothers do not know what you're talking about. You know, Myron's other point was that, you know, or it might have been a part of the same point, was that you're not getting genuine desired sex, you're getting transactional sex. Which, again, if you're a trick, if you're a trick or a John, you're not going to care because their main objective is to get sex. Most guys aren't going to care if their objective is to fuck a beautiful woman. And they're doing it for the experience or whatever reason they're doing it. If she's a professional, they're not going to care. She's going to give them the experience, as they call it, the girlfriend experience. Now, if you want genuine desire, then you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to, get some game. You're going to have to get into shape. You're going to have to improve your lifestyle and put yourself in positions that will get you chose up on for free. All that crap that these guys talk about, that sex is with women for free. That's things that tricks say. Tricks try to rationalize their tricking by saying things like, you got to pay the cost to be the boss, or you're going to pay somehow, some way. That's what a trick does. A trick rationalizes his tricking. So none of that really matters in the world of a trick, which most relationships between men and women is a trick and hoe relationship. That's where they fit at, and that's most relationships. They're not going to understand what genuine desire is about, so I wouldn't really talk. They're not going to really care. Now, another point he made, which can be an actual point, is that resentment from the guys towards women because they have to pay. Now, there's where another portion of the difference between a trick and a John. A John is not going to have resentment towards women because a John knows what he's paying for. He's getting it for sure. If his objective is just to bust a nut, then that's what his objective is to get, Or if his desire is to feel desired, if his objective is to feel desired and to, have sex or whatever the case is, then that's what he's going to do. A trick is going to trick his way into gratification, and that's why those guys, that's like when broads sit around complaining about guys not buying them drinks and things like that nature, because it's because of the market right now is so anti-male that even the tricks have probably slowed up on tricking off. Hell, that's probably where a lot of these red pill guys get their mentality from. Why they're so happy to see women who have OnlyFans, their downfall, because they don't get to dangle the carrot in front of the horse. They don't get to have power in situations that they probably never should have had power in the first place. They don't get to say those type of things. But the resentment from the guys towards the women because they have to pay, they've always had to pay. I think they always known. It's only like these weirdo motherfuckers that do that. Like maybe some creepy trick ass guy. Like, you ever see the Players Club? In the Players Club, there was a guy named Myron who was I think Diamond's first customer, and he was a guy who went into the club and he paid for his little dance, and she would dance for him up until she started to become a little bit more popular, and she was just doing her thing. She would be in there shaking her ass and getting money compared to when he first met her. Those are the type of guys who women should be concerned about, and they should probably carry a taser with them or learn some sort of self-defense, because that's what's out there. I mean, lucky for her, she knew how to deal with him because she had a gun, and I think her father taught her how to shoot. But some women, they don't think that they're just as delusional as these creepy ass guys. They think the world should just bend to the way they want it to be, and good luck with that. I think the views on the Fresh and Fit, I think the views that they have up there is from a narrative. It's from a narrative as if like they've read a book, and they've been successful so far with whatever they've been. I haven't really, like, I watch YouTube. I watch certain people in the YouTube in the manosphere within the same social circles. So say for instance, for wherever you hear Kevin Samuel shout out O'Shea, or Ron Wills, or BGS, there are other people that are around that same circle that I might talk about, or I might not talk about, but I might watch, and they might talk about, other people within the manosphere. So they might, talk about Fresh and Fit. They might talk about Abba and Preacher. They all kind of know each other. But I think that when it comes to this, there is some research that's been done on this, and people, I give people props for researching and, being online and putting it out there, because I think the worst thing that happened to people who have been trying to I'm gonna say destroy black men by taking power away from them, or trying to make sure they don't get any power or any type of education. The worst thing that could have happened for them or to them was that we were networking with each other. Even if we don't like each other, or even if we don't like to deal with each other, we have some sort of way of networking with each other in which we can watch each other's content and gain some sort of nugget of knowledge and use that to our best advantage. But at the same time, some of these guys don't really have a lot of experience. They're not talking from, they're talking from some sort of experience or whatever the case is, but you're also observing, other things that happen within their own shows, and it just doesn't sound right. It's gonna make them look bad. So my personal opinion, aside from on the topic itself, should prostitution be legal? Yes, it should be illegal. It should be legal. It should be legal. It should not be illegal. It should be legal, because a lot of issues that happen within the game would pretty much go away if it were legal. Guys, I think tricking stimulates the economy. I believe tricking stimulates the economy. You got guys who have trouble getting laid, because realistically, this, like I said earlier, a lot of this world is pretty much anti-male. And since it's anti-male, a lot of women have no issues with guys not ever getting laid, not ever, being able to produce children or being able to benefit anything. And it's like, you've never had to have done anything to them for them to have these ideals about you. If you're not attractive and you don't have certain things going for yourself, it comes off like they want you to just die alone and miserable and just for existing. And the way they treat men is as if you're disposable tools for them to use. So I think with the tricking being legal, guys who are sexually frustrated, because let's be realistic, most of the women in this world are smashing a small pool of guys. Either they're fucking high value men, or men who are high earners, or they're fucking men who aren't at the very bottom. As far as the middle class, you're probably looking at a huge portion of the middle class being virgins, being or having gone a while without having sex. While women, on the other hand, most of them, even like I remember watching Kevin Samuel's show, and there was a woman up there who called in, and she was like obese and ugly, and she was having trouble keeping men, mostly because she was gaining weight, and the other parts was that she was also entitled, but mostly because she was gaining weight. So even the average and the below average, or the negative below average, or the negative, if you were ranked them, they're in the negatives, they are getting way more sex than the average guy. And I think this gives a chance for guys to be able to, get laid, maybe set a reasonable price with a customer or a client and some boundaries, and then you have guys being able to get laid. There'll probably be there'll probably be a couple more or a lot more brothels to pop up. So, and sex sells realistically. There's, it would help stimulate the economy. It would definitely help stimulate the economy if guys were less sexually frustrated. I think guys who don't want a wife or a girlfriend can pay for a cheaper alternative, because let's be realistic, prostitution is cheaper than any experience. The girlfriend experience is cheaper than having a wife or a girlfriend. As I've said in a previous video, which I'm going to link to this one, probably at the end of the video, that most of the things that women say they bring to the table are services that can be paid for, whether it's cleaning up your house, laundry, cooking your meals, whatever you need done. Most of the things that most of the things that women say that they bring to the table is a service that can be paid for. And one of the few services that even prostitution, except for prostitution, in some places prostitution is legal, in some places, well, I think most places it's not legal. So if you want to be able to pay for a prostitute without worry about going to jail, then having it legal would be a decent move. And plus, like, they have a confidentiality thing. You wouldn't have to worry about a high earning celebrity or whatever coming out and they've been involved in a scandal, because some of these broads would know to keep their mouths shut, especially considering that their clients are high paying clients. That would be the smart move. So guys who don't want a girlfriend or wife can pay for a cheaper alternative. Sexually frustrated guys can get laid, and hoes get to have a job. So it's a win-win. And they probably get to do a lot less than what is done in porn. Especially, like I said, they get to choose their clientele. Now, the last thing I want to speak on is respect. I know for Myron, he talked a lot about respect as reasons why he didn't think prostitution should be legal, which really isn't an opinion or a fact on why prostitution shouldn't be legal. Like, what was prostitution being illegal humble women to I don't get it. I just didn't get that part. So here's my thing on respect, because I know when people heard Fitz say that or was it Fresh, and I don't know what each. I know the tall one was Myron, and dark skin boy was probably Fresh, I think. So when he said he don't just want sex, he wants to take a bitch's soul. I know when people heard that, they were just laughing, like he sound ridiculous. So hold off. I'm gonna just stick on that one for a little bit. We'll get right back to it in a second. My thing on respect is, it doesn't matter how anyone feels, because that's one thing that Abba said to Fresh was that, or Myron, was that not every woman is going to respect you. Some of them aren't going to respect you. You're not going to always come out and say they respect you. So my thing is that it doesn't matter how anyone feels, as long as they don't get out of their pocket. That's what people, especially men who are big on respect, they have to remember that. I'm a person who's big on respect, and I'm gonna say that as long as a broad doesn't get out of pocket, I don't really care how she feels. Because there are some people's respect that I don't really value, so them not having respect for me doesn't really matter. There's a meme that says, I need all the people who don't like me to get together and do something about it. So I don't really care about getting respect from getting everybody's respect. Some respect I don't even value. Just don't disrespect me and we won't have a problem. Now, that's pretty much my take on the whole beef thing. So my whole my whole take on the video, the topic: should prostitution be legal? Yes, I think it should be. Moving forward, my opinion on the entire beef, after watching the video and seeing them do their, Abba and Preach I watched the video in which they gave their criticism of the video that they were in, the podcast, and I watched them do the response to Myron's and their whole rant, So first off, looking at their critique of the show, a lot of these guys, and this is gonna have me reiterating something I said in the previous part of this video. A lot of these guys don't have any game. It comes off as though they read stuff online, and yeah, they got a little bit of worldly and life experience, whatever it is. But a lot of these guys don't have any game, because when the dude said that, you know, he wants a bitch's soul, that is very much a possible thing to happen, because I've talked about the power of the game, the power of the ism on my website, and it is very much possible to get those type of results if you have the game for it. None of the guys there have the game for it. None of the 4 guys that were in that podcast have the game to make it happen, and they should be realistic about that. I've been preaching need to be realistic about the fact that they just don't have the game to pull that off. You don't have the knowledge to pull that off, and it's probably not even in your lane, and it's probably too late. This too late in your life to actually do anything about it, to actually be able to have the game to do that. Or I could be wrong, and you could, you know, pull a 180, and you could learn all the possible things that's necessary. Like I said, you are all a part of the same social circle, so you could actually reach out to somebody within the circle and that knows what they're talking about, such as a Ron Wills, who is probably one of the most thorough cats within the within the manosphere, you know, because he does talk about, you know, women, but he doesn't talk about women in the same capacity as a red pill guy, but he still, you know, has his videos about women. But he grew up around, you know, the game, so he would know what he's talking about. And then there's what's the other guy's name? I think his name is CT. Let me look it up. I don't want to be wrong, because I've been checking out the other cat's videos as well. It's this cat who was in the who's in the industry. I think he used to be a sex worker, and you know, I think he's pretty thorough. You know, I think that guy is pretty thorough. Let's see if I can find it, because I think he was spot on with what he said. Hold on. I don't believe I had to dig so deep just to find the video. Let me see. I think I had that John. I know I bookmarked it, you know. They call himself Cousin T. I think that's what he calls himself. But yeah, I was checking out his video earlier. I probably should have. Yeah, Cousin T-Tall is his name. He's a pretty thorough cat as well. He got a book going on. Both him and Ron Wills have a book going on. Oftentimes when I'm checking out Ron Wills' channel in his videos, he often talks about Cousin T-Tall, which made me, you know, check out his channel. They know what they're talking about when it comes to the game. But back to the I've been preach beef. So none of the guys there have the game to pull it off. I've been preach don't believe it's possible for a guy to, you know, take a soul, and they even joked that it was like, who do you think you are, Ghostbusters? And that's where I think they went wrong. With Fresh and Fit, where they went wrong was, you know, responded emotionally instead of just, you know, dealing with the points that Auburn Preach made. And they dealing with the points that Auburn Preach made with game. And if they wanted to like throw shots at them, you know, they could have just, you know, they could have did that within the realm of the game. But to sit there and, you know, do all that hand clapping and talk about Preach's wife and say that those guys stink. You were sitting right next to Abba. Did you think he stunk when he was sitting next to you? You know, you're gonna ask them why did they wait so long to do that video? And like, that action is questionable, but at the same time, you were sitting right next to him. Did you think he stunk when he sat there? It's like, there's a lot of goofy stuff going on with everybody involved in the situation. Fresh and Fit are wrong for how they respond. He emotional. That's a H-E, capital H-E, emotional. They responded emotionally to the criticism, and Albert Preach, the way they responded to the way they did a response video to the podcast by asking him who did he think he was, and you know, like, who you shouldn't have said that to him. The way that the tone of your voice is just like, if you didn't believe it, it was one thing. You can say you disagree with it, but the way you were saying it was like, you know, telling him to, you know, get the fuck out of here. there was like vitriol in your voice, if you will, when you said it. So yeah, they could be taken the wrong way. Everybody involved in this beef responded to each other in a manner that, you know, they should have each checked their tone before they decided to do a response. You know, it's one thing for you to criticize the video, although Myron wasn't that far off in certain aspects or whatever. He's right, realistically. You know, I think prostitution should be legal, but he is right that you're not getting respect from the women when you are paying for these services. But again, a trick or a John is not going to care. I think the way that you guys responded to each other was just really, really corny. Anyway, I think this is all the time that I want to give this video. If you guys like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you at the next one. Peace.